Also, not often you get a score like Jungle against a stopper of goals like Slobo, the goalkeeper for St. Louis.
Exactly, Kevin. We talked about that quite a few times before in our telecast. Probably the best keeper in the league. He comes into tonight's game a 2.89 goals against average. Statistics mean a lot in indoor soccer, in particular for keepers. When you average less, or you average giving up less than 3 goals a game, you're in top form, and Slobo is at this early stage of the season.
Jungle has made a habit of wearing out the Steamers in the past. How do you stop a guy like that?
Well, you try to keep his points to a minimum. He's going to score a goal, lay some balls off for some nice assists. If you keep his points to a minimum, if you keep it to 2 or 3 points, you'll be in business. But he's not the only player to worry about in the San Diego Sockers team. Gene Wilrich, Kaz Dana, Bronco Segota, they have some other potent scorers as well.
And for St. Louis, of course, as always, Don Ebert carries the share of the load offensively. But tonight, good news for them. Ricky Davis returns to the lineup.
Very good news for the Steamers. He missed the last 3 games for the club. He's an important part of their team. Very good with his ball at his feet going forward. Works very nicely with Don Ebert does, Ricky Davis, and probably one of the best Americans in the league.
All right, Bill, and tonight as we watch the Steamers being introduced, something's going to have to give because San Diego has never lost in this building, and the Steamers this year are off to a 4-0 start.
Exactly, Kevin. The 2 top league teams in respective divisions. And unfortunately for the St. Louis Steamers defenders, Steve Jungle says he looks forward to coming into this building. He likes the excitement that the fans generate, and he really looks forward to playing here. He didn't play here last year. I mentioned at the top of the show, he played in the North American Soccer League for the Golden Bay Earthquakes, but now he's back with the San Diego Sockers, much to the chagrin of defenders all over the league.
And as you see, much to the chagrin, because San Diego is 6-1, and Jungle leads the league in scoring, which he seems to always do. He's played 6 years of indoor soccer, and he's won the scoring title, the MVP, 5 of those times. Los Angeles is also off to a good start in the West, as is the Las Vegas team, formerly the Memphis team. Wichita, a game over 500. The biggest surprise over there is Kansas City at 1-6. With all of the talent they've assembled there, I would imagine that things will start getting better in Kansas City before long. Dallas, of course, the new team 0-10, and I don't think anybody expected much more.
Pretty much not, Kevin. They started off rough, and they continue to start to play in a difficult division this year. As you mentioned, they're 0-10. They may turn out to be 1-11 like the Tacoma Stars did last year, but the Tacoma Stars, in the process, drastically turned things around. They only missed the playoffs by 1 game.
I mentioned the Steamers were 4-0 here at home. They're 6-2 overall, and that's good enough to lead the Eastern Division, but they're just a shade ahead of Minnesota. Just a half-game lead for the Steamers coming in tonight. So both teams have their division-leading status on the line tonight. After tonight's game, one of them, of course, will lose, and that means that one of them will be tied for their respective division lead with that loss. So St. Louis against San Diego, the top 2 teams in the MISL at this point in the season, ready to do battle here at the arena. The officiating crew for you tonight, led by Gino DiPolito. But Kaz Dana was a player that you talked about at the top of the show, Bill. Internationally known player, so very skilled. 37 years old, but you'd never know it by the way he plays.
He's playing like a teenager, Kevin, and he's one of the prime movers for this team. You mentioned the supporting cast. He's right at the top of that cast. Kaz Dana, probably the best player for Poland when they came so narrowly close to beating West Germany back in 1974 when West Germany won the World Cup. He was a player for that team who really solidified their offense. Every ball that was won in the back went to his feet, and then he distributed it. He does a similar task for the San Diego Sockers team.
Jungle will start things off for San Diego. For St. Louis, Jeff Cacciatore's on the floor. That means 134 straight games. For the little man, number 12 in white, Jeff Cacciatore. Zoltan Toth will open in goal for San Diego tonight. This is the most potent offensive team in the league right now, San Diego. They're averaging nearly 8 goals a game. So it's really going to be one of those classic confrontations tonight. That's just not pre-game hoopla, because they're going to go against the best goalkeeper in the league, and it's going to be exciting. There is Zoltan Toth. He himself a very effective goalkeeper in the MISL. Doesn't lose very often.
When they were 2-on-1 defending against Sandbeck, he had nowhere to go with the ball. He was about to lose it, and they fouled him in the process.
Bellinger's shot blocked, and it goes over the glass, belongs to St. Louis. Brian Schmetzer took the brunt of that shot. 10:52 left first quarter. We'll be back at the arena for more indoor soccer on the Sports Time Cable Network.
It's a season of excitement. Major indoor soccer league action. Live Sunday, the Tacoma Stars meet the Cleveland Force. With Dale Mitchell, one of the league's scoring leaders, guiding the way, the Stars plan to light up the sky in this, their second season. But Cleveland, loaded with firepower backed up by strong goalkeeping, is a force to reckon with. It's the Tacoma Stars against the Cleveland Force as the Major Indoor Soccer League season of excitement continues Sunday on Sports Time.
Has Dana sending it in for Jungle. Dana has control. Here's Jungle, but there are 4 white jerseys around him, so he gets out of there fast.
Did the same thing. He had his back to the goal. He just knocked it back to one of his teammates where he had no congestion.
Bellinger comes away with a loose ball. If San Diego continues their tremendous offensive pace, they would break the all-time record for goals scored set by the Arrows. Cross for Betancourt, he scores!
Number 3 for the Steamers, Armando Betancourt, their newly signed forward from Honduras, the star in the 1982 World Cup for his native Honduras. A great run by Tim Walters. Lays the ball off with his left foot to the on-rushing Armando Betancourt. He just simply side puts it into the net. Here's an excellent view. What you're seeing now is what Zoltan Toth saw in the previous play. Nice ball, diagonal running does number 3, Armando Betancourt, slides it nicely inside that near post. A nice run by Tim Walters made that all possible, Kevin. He drew the defenders to him, and he simply laid the ball off to the on-rushing Armando Betancourt. A nice goal by the Steamers.
Zoltan Toth failed to get parallel to the ground, and thus the ball went in. Otherwise, he may have been able to get a piece of it. Betancourt didn't have to do much with it. Walters did all the work. So St. Louis on the board, 1-0. Ricky Davis with his first appearance of the night. Wilrich trying to run him off the ball. And he somehow gets it to Ebert. Now in front to Keogh, and Toth comes up with a big save. A header by Keogh, and Toth is there again.
Great work there by the Steamers, Kevin. Excellent, quick ball movement from Davis to Keogh.
Wilrich hitting the shot, and it tips the glass and goes high. He scored with some 30 seconds left to win it. Dana crossing it for Wilrich, but Bellinger hustling over there, and they call it against Bellinger. That was a creative call. Jungle in the near side along the boards, double teamed. He still has it though. Schultz finally takes him down, and that foul goes against St. Louis. So both teams with 5 fouls called against them here in the quarter so far, and there are 6.5 minutes left. Here's a look.
Tripping foul whistled up there on number 11, Tim Schultz. As Steve Jungle had done some nice individual work to get behind the young defender who formerly played for Coach Dave Clemens for the Denver Avalanche.
Wilrich misreads it and has to go back and get it. Long shot, they score off Coker. Coker gets the goal, and for him, that is his 8th goal of the year.
Let's watch it develop again, Kevin. Here's Gene Wilrich at the right midfield spot. He hits a low liner at the near post, and Adi Coker more or less says, "Excuse me, I'll foot this with the inside of my right foot," and tie the score by 1 each. More or less an excuse me goal, but nonetheless, they all count. It's 1 each, the Sockers and the Steamers.
So with 6 minutes left in the quarter, both teams have 5 fouls against them, so we'll more than likely see another power play this quarter. That's only the 2nd goal on the power play the Steamers have given up all year. Bellinger with a knuckleball, Davis in front, and he waited a little long. Ebert heads it high, Bellinger hit the post. It's still alive, and it goes over the glass. Bellinger hit the post.
Ebert on the first head ball narrowly missed the crossbar. Then Tony Bellinger runs on a rebound. Here's again the save by Zoltan Toth. Ebert runs onto the rebound, heads it just over the crossbar. Now on the ensuing play, Bellinger heads it on, hits the near post, and it rebounds to Don Ebert. Some great action in the San Diego Sockers goal mouth.
Ricky Davis probably had the best opportunity, Bill, and he just waited too long. Toth was on the ground. 5:50 left, still 1-1. Steve Daly for the Sockers getting it to Quinn. A long pass for Jungle, knocked away by Bick. So when he's out there, Jungle, the thing about him, this another thing that's so tough to stop, he's out there so often. He doesn't come off very much. Schmetzer for San Diego, a 3-on-2 for Jungle, but Bellinger knocked it away. Oh, Daly moving on, he scores! Steve Daly for San Diego, and they take a 2-1 lead.
There you see number 17, Steve Daly. Watch the play again. Daly runs on to the loose ball. Running full steam out of the midfield position was number 17. There you see him, Steve Daly, who made no mistake with that shot. Beat the keeper, Slobo Ilievsky. There you see Ilievsky, number 30 for the Steamers. Finds himself in a rare occasion. 5:25 left in the first quarter, down by a score of 2-1.
Effective, at least so far. They're overshooting Cacciatore. Less than a minute left as Wilrich brings it up, leaving it for Kaz Dana. Don't give him open room. And he sends it across. Deflected. Jungle gets it to Wilrich. He's open. Tries to cross it. Steamers converging on the ball, but you can't allow a guy like Kaz Dana to have that much room. He'll burn you. Here's Wilrich in the corner. A shot off Ilievsky. A fine save. Schultz trying to head it out, and here comes Cacciatore. They've got a 3-on-2. Brian Quinn on the floor trying to hurry up, and it's taken away by the Sockers. Nice job by San Diego. Bick loses it. Jungle's got a breakaway. Ebert hustling back, but a foul called against Jungle. So that time they caught him on that move.
Right, Kevin. I mentioned before, he does a nice job of getting his body between the defender and the ball. However, you cannot use that ploy until you have possession of the ball.
Sam Bick took a gamble. He nearly paid for it.
That's right, Kevin. That is a big gamble because you usually take a chance. Let's watch the play again. There's Don Ebert coming back to defend on Steve Jungle. Was whistled up on the prior play, the foul was, but Sam Bick took a gamble, as I mentioned, Kevin. When you dive in against a skilled veteran like Jungle, sometimes he can burn you.
Bellinger keeping it alive, but Toth is up to the challenge.
Bellinger rebound! At the end of the first period, the score, San Diego 2.
There was the foul again of Steve Jungle. Again, used his body before he had possession of the ball on the Steamers' last defender, Sam Bick.
The quarter has come to an end here in the arena in St. Louis. San Diego leads the Steamers 2-1 in a battle of first place teams. We'll be back with more right after this. Back live at the arena in St. Louis, 2-1, San Diego leading St. Louis. Battle of division leaders here tonight on Sports Time. Kevin Slayton along with Bill McDermott, Ron Newman talking to the Sockers. And Bill, San Diego nearly had a 3-1 lead.
Here's number 6, Cha-Cha Nandar, Kevin. Got by the Steamers' last defender. An excellent ball by Nandar. He saw Slobo commit himself. As soon as he did that, that's when he shot the ball. Side-footed with his right instep. Narrowly escaped getting a goal.
By my unofficial count, Bill, 4 balls hit the post in that first quarter. So we nearly had 4 more goals scored in this game. Slobo Ilievsky, the best goalkeeper in the MISL in the history of the league, battling against the best scorer in the history of the league. Some of the color here in St. Louis, bright color.
Dressed in blue as opposed to when we go to Kansas Coliseum, everyone's dressed in orange, the Orange Army. Good view of the Steamers bench. Currently leading the Eastern Division, contrary to what a lot of folks thought would happen at the beginning of the season.
Our Friday night game of the week, matching 2 of the best the MISL has to offer, at least through the first 8 games or so of the season. San Diego with the best record, 6-1, but St. Louis not far behind at 6-2.
Don't miss him until at least the end of the year, according to assistant coach Jay Hoffman. Vital member of that Cleveland Force unit.
Pass in front, broken up by Collier, but Draghi keeps it alive, and of course by the end of the year, you mean the end of December. Also with a drive, and he hit it wide.
Well, Dave Clemens says he wants to get more production from his midfielders, and Ty Keogh's been doing a good job tonight. Larry Hulser, his first time on the field, narrowly missed a goal at that far post.
Quinn gets it ahead to Dana. Kaz Dana with some room. Draghi coming over to cut him off at the pass. He lets go a low shot. Slobo tips it out anyway. Jungle on Draghi, and Jungle able to force the turnover. In front to Quinn. A drive. He scored! Brian Quinn for San Diego.
What a great goal by the San Diego Sockers. A tremendous understanding between number 14, Brian Quinn. There's a shot by Quinn. What a lovely ball set up for Quinn by number 10, the veteran Kaz Dana. Simply laid the ball off into Quinn's path, runs onto it, hits a full right foot instep drive past the keeper Slobo. Sockers going top by a score of 3-1. Nicely engineered goal by Kaz Dana.
Quinn gets his 5th goal of the year. Bill, they gave the assist to Jungle. Did you think? A long high shot by Ebert, and it's tipped over by Toth.
Unless I'm watching a different game.
I thought Dana touched it last.
Oh, clearly. And it was a great assist by Kaz Dana, but also a great job done by Brian Quinn, who saw that Dana had the ball, couldn't go forward. He laid the ball off sideways. Quinn ran right onto it.
There is Slobo. Got to feel like a lonely man right now. Not getting much help. 2 of the Sockers' goals have come from about 15, 20 yards out, and they've been clear open shots. McEwen, see you later. About the 3rd deck for that one.
They have been very similar plays, Kevin. Good understanding by the San Diego Sockers, by their skilled veteran performers. They see when they draw defenders to them, their younger players seeing these situations develop, run off the ball into open spaces. When they do that, it's easy to get a shot on goal.
13-18 left in the first half. San Diego, all of a sudden, the gate is open and they're coming through in numbers. 3-1 they lead it. They trailed 1-0 early.
They average 7 goals a game, Kevin, so they're very potent.
Almost 8. Namdar ahead for Coker. Addy Coker in alone. He scores! Boy, they're awesome. His 2nd of the night.
It's number 4, Addy Coker, and just like that, the Sockers are up by a score of 4-1 with 13:05 remaining in the first half.
Time for a timeout here, Bill?
I believe so. Coach Dave Clements wants to regroup and say, what's going on here with the defense? Here's the play developing once again. Addy Coker receives it, looks up, sees where the keeper is, Slobo Ilievsky. See, he's at the near post, Kevin. Coker puts that ball with the outside of his right foot, puts it past Ilievsky, and a nice job by Coker to read Slobo Ilievsky. Made him commit himself first.
13:05 remaining in the first half. 4-1, San Diego. 6:59 remaining in the first half. Don Draghi done a great job shoring up the defensive backs for St. Louis. They lost the consensus all-star, Steve Petcher, who played out his option and went to Kansas City.
They have 2 of the youngest defenders combining on the back line, the Steamers do, with Don Draghi and Tim Schultz.
And, of course, the veterans Tony Bellinger and Sam Bick and Carl Rose. Carl's not suited up tonight. Cha-Cha Namdar. Look at Cha-Cha over there in the corner. Is he tricky? Ebert finally gets it away from him. Around one man. Ebert in front to McEwen. Oh, loose ball. Durant. He scores!
Kevin, credit that goal to a concerted effort by the Steamers players. Don Ebert, here you see him winning the ball, rebounding it off the near post, past the keeper, Zoltan Toth. Duncan McEwen gets involved in the play, and here's Daryl Duran finishing it off very nicely and in convincing fashion. Ebert again rebounds the ball to the foot of McEwen. He again rebounds the ball, this time to the waiting left foot of number 7, Daryl Duran. He puts the Steamers within 2, 4-2 now with 6:36 remaining. As I mentioned, Kevin, just an all-out concerted effort by the Steamers to keep the ball alive in the Sockers' defensive end.
Ebert gets the assist, and he earned it. He stole it along the far boards after Cha-Cha Namdar had done a 1-2 number on the Steamers defensively, but he played with it a little bit too long, and the bill came due. Bick now intercepts. That'll pump a little life into the team in white. Wilrich the other way for San Diego. Pulser on him, but Wilrich doing a great job. Finally shoots it in front, but Slobo comes out to take it away. Redmond Lane with a burst. He can fly. A shot and a great save by Toth. Well, that was as big a save as you'll see.
What a great job by Redmond Lane, Kevin, to make a lane-for-the-floor run nearly to get the shot on goal. A sudden burst of speed, and then on the dead run, a very powerful left-footed shot. Good work by Redmond Lane.
Bick again intercepting. He's really taking the initiative from that defensive end. Oh, I give credit to Zoltan Toth. A bigger save you won't see at a crucial point in this game.
More exciting action coming up this Sunday, Kevin, when we go to Cleveland, see the Tacoma Stars for the first time this year. They totally turned their team around last year after a dismal 1-11 start, and they narrowly missed getting into the playoffs.
And they've been filling the building in Cleveland. They've jammed a few folks in there the other night, didn't they?
19,380, setting a new all-time MISL attendance mark.
Three-line violation goes against San Diego. And I believe it broke the record that St. Louis had held.
That's right, Kevin. The Steamers had a previous record of 19,208 when they played Dave Clement's farmer team, the Denver Avalanche. They clearly had the advantage, Kevin, in numbers. There were 4-to-1 defenders against one offensive man. Simply let the man bring the ball to you and wait to see what develops.
Keel in the corner. McEwen turns and scores!
There's number 5, Duncan McEwen. So the Sockers pay for that last foul against Don Ebert. McEwen draws his team within 1. Here's Duncan McEwen faking at the near post and flying it with the inside of his left foot into the absolute farthest corner of the net, right where the crossbar meets the post. Number 5, Duncan McEwen, 4-3 in favor of the Sockers.
Keel with the assist. But McEwen had so many chances earlier off restarts, and he kicked them into the crowd. He kept that one where it should go. And he gets his second goal of the year, and now it's a one-goal game between these two high-powered units.
It's a good job by Duncan McEwen to fake his defender at the near post, cause the defender to commit himself, and then put it at, like I said, Kevin, the absolute farthest corner of the far corner.
San Diego hasn't had much going offensively lately. They came out flying. I don't recall a ball that Slobo has touched in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game. San Diego, after that 4-goal streak, has fallen victim to perhaps a little bit of complacency, and they sat on it a bit, and St. Louis has made them pay. Zoltan Toth with a pass that he gets away with. Jungle hustling back to get hold of it. Now a long outlet that Bick intercepts. McEwen gets it to Cacciatore. Cacciatore, a shot, he hit the post! Duran with a great move. He's got Bick wide open. There he is, and he takes a bad shot. Now he crosses the header. Inside, Toth has it. Ball is loose. Duran running onto it. Can't do much with it, and it belongs to San Diego. Cacciatore intercepts. Toth comes up with a save. This crowd is on its feet. I think I pulled a muscle.
Look at this action by the Steamers. Here's the last shot of that particular offensive foray up the field. Number 12, Jeff Cacciatore. But some really pressurized offense by the St. Louis Steamers as they look for an equalizer. With just 2:02 remaining. Great action by the Steamers and tremendous work by the midfielder, number 7, Daryl Duran.
And there is Jungle on the left wing. He finds him. Schultz on him. Here's where he's so dangerous. He can score that quickly and just deflates you. Segota with a low shot, deflected. Now Davis comes out. Segota chasing him. Nice blind past the lane in midfield. Doesn't have much help. Nobody helping him. And he finally loses the ball. You knew that was going to happen. Katakalitis comes away with it. And now San Diego flying the other way with Wilrich for Jungle. He's knocked down. In front, Katakalitis loses it. Holzer for St. Louis, 30 seconds left in the period. Well, the fans have gotten their money's worth already.
In just the first half, Kevin, some great offensive pressure by the Steamers laid here in the first half.
Schultz is going to be whistled on for the obstruction against Daly with 15 seconds left in the half.
Pushing foul there, whistled up on Tim Schultz. A bit over-aggressive to get to the ball.
Deflected by Holzer, but Kyer gets it right back. 6 seconds left. Wilrich trying to position himself for one last shot, but Ebert takes it away in front, and they nearly scored at the buzzer. Well, that's the end of the first half, and what an exciting 30 minutes of indoor soccer you've seen between the two best. The two teams leading their divisions. At the half, San Diego leads 4-3. Here in St. Louis, Missouri, it's halftime with San Diego leading St. Louis 4-3. And if you are a connoisseur of indoor soccer, you've got to love what you've seen here through the first half. A lot of offense, and we promised you that at the top of the show, and San Diego and St. Louis have not disappointed anyone.
They certainly haven't, Kevin. Some great action, in particular here in the late stages of the first half by the St. Louis Steamers. But as you so accurately described, despite the fact that the Steamers have had all this pressure, Zoltan Toth, the keeper for the San Diego Sockers, has been equal to the task, and they still have a 1-goal lead at halftime.
It was 1-0 St. Louis. They got on the board first with Betancourt.
Tim Walters, very nice run left wing, all the way down to the near post. There's Tim Walters making that nice run at the near post, laying it off to Armando Betancourt. That was the first goal of the game early on for the St. Louis Steamers. Good job by Betancourt, but a lovely run on the left wing by Tim Walters. Now here's Brian Gwynn getting a goal. Here's a ball laid off by Kaz Dana. Beautiful ball by Dana. They bring a one-on, ran onto it very nicely, hit it first time, and it was 3-1 for the Steamers, but a good job by the San Diego Sockers. Next we have Adi Coker scoring from Cha-Cha Namdar. The San Diego Sockers, really explosive unit. As we talked about, Kevin, when you mark up on Jungle, there are other ways that they can hurt you. Here's Cha-Cha Namdar laying it off to Adi Coker, waiting for Slobo to commit himself at the near post, and it was 4-1 for the San Diego Sockers. So they're being very explosive in this first half with players other than Steve Jungle. Number 4, Adi Coker then. Then Daryl Duran got back into action for the St. Louis Steamers, and he scored from Don Ebert. Score at that time was 4-1 for San Diego. There's Adi Coker being congratulated. Now Don Ebert, as we just mentioned, assist on a goal by Daryl Duran. Great hustle by Ebert to keep the ball alive. Rebounds it off the near post. Duncan McEwen runs past it. Then Ebert again slots it nicely over to Daryl Duran, runs onto it at the far post, and it was 4-2 in favor of San Diego, and it looked like they were in danger of losing their 2-goal lead. So the Steamers, in the late stages of that first half, really coming on nicely.
And of course, they scored later to make it 4-3 and pulled to within 1 goal. And as we talked about, a flurry of action in front of the San Diego goal, and the Steamers came away empty-handed, and thus San Diego goes into the locker room with that 4-goal flash that they had to take a 4-1 lead, and they know they've got the 1-goal lead as McEwen scored to make it 4-3 for St. Louis.
Third goal for the Steamers. Duncan McEwen fakes at the near post, then goes to the far post. Nice goal by number 5. Duncan McEwen draws his teammates to within 1 goal. So the Steamers playing some good offensive soccer late in the first half.
Bill, the interesting thing that I've found through the first half is the Jungle's been pretty well marked out of this game, yet 4 times San Diego's been able to beat Slobo.
Exactly, Kevin. The Steamers forwards doing a nice job of getting back on defense. When the defenders can contain him, they've done their job. But he's still equally dangerous. But your forwards come back, get involved in the defense, they help out very nicely. It's a key to containing Steve Jungle.
Dave Clements called a very opportune timeout after his team fell behind 4-1, and since then it's been all St. Louis. At the half, here at the arena in St. Louis, San Diego leading the Steamers 4-3. We'll be back with more. You're going to be joining the sports desk after you see this on the Sports Time Cable Network. We've still got the second half coming up from here. We're back live here at the arena in St. Louis. Hope you enjoyed the update from the sports desk. And Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott are here to bring you all of the second half action. And it promises to be as exciting as the first half. San Diego leading St. Louis 4-3. The Steamers got on the board first 1-0, but San Diego got 4 in a hurry, and it was 4-1. But the Steamers applied the pressure from that point on and closed it to 4-3, and that's where we are here at halftime. Any surprises for you so far, Bill?
Not too much, Kevin. We talked about the fact that when you play well against Steve Jungle, you have to be prepared to face his other teammates. And that's exactly what happened in the first 2 quarters against the St. Louis Steamers. His other teammates really got into the offense, and they scored all the goals. Steamers defense did an admirable job against Steve Jungle. Here's Daryl Duran late in the second quarter. Some nice work, a lovely ball. Laid it off to Sam Beck. Sam didn't quite get that ball correctly with his right instep, but on the ensuing rebound, almost headed it in. Now watch this action. Jeff Cacciatore at the near post. Rebounds it off Zoltan Toth. Ball goes directly back to Cacciatore. Now he hits it to the far post. Ebert runs onto it, but Cha-Cha Namdar heads it clear. Here's Daryl Duran running onto it. Some tremendous offensive pressure by the Steamers. Duran's shot is then cleared by Kevin Crow. So if the Steamers can continue to mount that same type of offensive pressure, Kevin, they'll be in business.
Well, that's what it takes when you play San Diego, because when you're on the offensive, that means they're not. And that's what you want to keep them away from doing, is get hold of that ball and control it and just keep popping you. And that's what they did in the first 20 minutes of this game. And they put 4 of them past the league's best goalkeeper, Slobo Ilievsky, and he didn't have a prayer on any one of the 4.
You mentioned the key, Kevin, to keep possession of the ball yourself. Keep the ball away from the San Diego Sockers, and that's what Coach Dave Clemens told me before the game. He would like his midfielders, Ty Keogh, Duncan McEwen, Larry Hulser, Daryl Duran, to break down the Sockers offense before they have a chance to even begin it. And in the process, keep the ball away from players like Dana and Jungle and Gene Wilrich.
I saw Zoltan Toth, the San Diego goalkeeper, down at his end, grabbing hold of each goalpost and moving them, shaking them a little bit as if to thank them for the help they've given him in the first half. On 4 or 5 occasions, we've seen the ball go off the post and not go in. He sets things up for them. Look at that effort. But Coker stayed right with him, and Zoltan Toth was able to field it.
One of the youngest and most talented players in this league, number 7, Daryl Duran, the youngest player last year, as a matter of fact, in the All-Star game.
Here's Wilrich, 3-on-2. Jungle open on the left side. There he is. Oh, Slobo got a hand on it. And we're going to get a 2-minute penalty against San Diego, I believe, or is it St. Louis? Let's wait and see. No, it's against St. Louis. And Ty Keogh for elbowing.
There's number 8 on the back of his black uniform, Toth Skrbichin. Let's watch how the play develops. Nice save by Slobo Ilievsky. But on the following play, Ty Keogh comes up against Steve Jungle and commits the foul. Jungle taking the initial shot. Slobo making a nice save there at the near post. Good work. On the following play, 2 minutes for elbowing, whistled up on number 10, Ty Keogh. So the Steamers early on here in the third quarter, forced to play short-handed. Foul was committed in the penalty area as Ty Keogh there elbows Steve Jungle. Toth Skrbichin caught sight of the foul. And since the foul was committed in the penalty area, we'll have a penalty kick for the San Diego Sockers.
And Jungle will take it, and what a horrible turn of events for St. Louis. In this game, that's almost a gift goal. It's pretty difficult. The shooter almost has to blow it, or the goalkeeper just make an unbelievable guess. So Jungle will gun for his 15th goal of the year. If he makes it, Keogh comes out. If he doesn't, San Diego still has 2 minutes man advantage. Slobo with a big save! That got this crowd cooking. Oh, you won't see a better save than that. Look at Jungle. He's frustrated.
What a tremendous save by the keeper, Slobo Ilievsky. You mentioned, Kevin, that the keeper just more or less guesses, and that's what Slobo did. He guessed right. Tremendous save.
And now, still, San Diego has the man advantage, so they can still hurt you. Minute and a half left in the penalty. That quick momentum that St. Louis picks up could be dashed in a hurry if San Diego's still able to capitalize. So the Steamers, who've killed 17 of 18 coming into tonight, were victimized on 1 power play, so it's now 17 of 19, still best in the league at killing penalties. But the Sockers are awesome at scoring. Bellinger, Draghi, Schultz, and Bicker out there for St. Louis. Kaz Dana with the ball for Wilrich. He's joined by Segota, Coker, and Jungle. Draghi intercepts, but Segota gets it. Bellinger has to cut him off at the pass, and he does. And now Bellinger's taken down from behind by Segota, and it goes against San Diego. 54 seconds left in the power play.
There's the foul again. Number 6, Tony Bellinger defending, gaining possession. He's fouled from behind by number 20, Franco Segota.
Kaz Dana now for San Diego. They've still got 40 seconds now left in the power play. There's Segota on the right wing for Jungle. Now Dana. Well, when Jungle's out there, he's not as dangerous. There's a great pass, but look at Slobo. Wilrich robbed on the doorstep. I said Jungle not as dangerous. I meant scoring. Segota, Slobo gets a foot on it. Well, we've seen what was billed, and that is the best goalkeeper in the league here in the first 3 minutes of the second half, because he's saved 3 sure goals already. Back live at the arena, 4-3 San Diego, and here's another look at the play that may have changed this game around. Penalty kick for Jungle.
Penalty kick for Jungle. Slobo guesses correctly and saves a wonderful save by the keeper, Slobo Ilievsky, to rob Steve Jungle of a penalty kick opportunity.
You saw Slobo moving around prior to the ball being kicked. You can do that. It's a legal play by the goalkeeper. came when Ebert headed one, but he headed it right at Toth, who was waiting. Had it covered well. And you know, Zoltan Toth tends to, Ricky Davis couldn't find the ball. Redmond Lane intercepts. Lane with a low, oh, great save by Toth. I was just about ready to say, and in fact started saying it, Toth goes unrecognized because of the guy in the other net, and that's Slobo. But Toth has been spectacular.
Well, he has, Kevin. A splendid save right there on that shot by Redmond Lane. The key to Redmond Lane's play is that he goes forward as soon as he has the opportunity. There's number 1, Zoltan Toth, who's been playing a tremendous game so far for the San Diego Sockers. You mentioned the fact, Kevin, that he goes unnoticed. But he's played some remarkable goal this evening for the Sockers.
Played in Shep Messing's shadow in New York for a while. There's Jungle. 9:09 left in the third quarter. Been a long time since San Diego scored. They scored their last goal early in the second quarter. Bellinger wins the gamble, because if he had lost, Wilrich had a breakaway. Toth out of his goal. Jungle, long pass. Great pass on the far side for Daly. 2-on-1, but Cacciatore hustles back. Now Jungle steals it. Oh, and he hits it high because Slobo got a piece of it.
Again, Kevin, good work by the Steamer forwards to get back on defense to frustrate that man, number 7, Steve Jungle. But the key to Jungle's play on that particular move was to immediately go at the goal. Here's Jungle, toe poking the ball. Slobo just getting a hand on it at the near post. Good work by both teams.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, Bill, we have to keep bringing this up. All of the opportunities that St. Louis has had from the middle of that second period till now, they haven't put it past Toth for that tying goal. He's been spectacular.
He has been, Kevin, and he's equally adept at distribution of the ball. When he sees Jungle or Gene Wilrich or Dana or anybody long, he'll throw the ball to him and usually on his teammate's protected side so that they have an instantaneous break on goal.
Well, when you play a headache, you don't know he's there until after the game, and you look at some of the films and you think, my gosh, I didn't realize he was out there, but there he is again.
And I tell you, you can ask the opposing forwards around the league. They want no part of playing against Cacciatore.
He'll bug you all night long. He won't hurt you, but he'll bug you. 134th straight game for him. He's a durable little guy. Here's Hulser for St. Louis. 7 minutes left in the half. Hulser. And there's Toth out of his own goal. Did a nice job to cut down the angle. Look at that play. Bellinger's shot deflected by Jungle into the crowd. And it's Zoltan Toth that's kept San Diego in the lead.
Bingo, Kevin, exactly. On that last particular play, came off his line right at the near post and saved them very capably. 6:52 remaining in the third quarter. 4-3 in favor of the Sockers. We're coming back.
The promise of earth brings is bread at its best. From the earth to your table, baked wholesome and fresh. The promise of harvest says nature's goodness. The promise of freshness, goodness, earth brings. The promise of bread at its best.
Back live at the arena in St. Louis. 6:52 left, third quarter. 4-3 San Diego. The MISL season of excitement continuing here on Sports Time Sunday. 6:30 Eastern Time. Live action Tacoma at Cleveland. Next Friday, 7:30 Eastern Time. More live action Kansas City against the defending league champion Baltimore. Steamers will touch the ball and the quarter will expire. And there it is, 15 minutes of indoor soccer left in regulation time. After 3 quarters, it is San Diego 4, St. Louis 3. We'll be back for more right after this. Kind the Jungle makes a living off of. He doesn't miss when he gets that kind of a chance.
One of the defensive St. Louis fans wondering, when is my team going to equalize, get back into this game? They certainly had their opportunities.
Not many of the folks here are sitting that calmly. 5:40 left. Ricky Davis way up into the crowd again.
Goal kick for San Diego.
So another good opportunity falls away for St. Louis. San Diego setting up now, and they're dangerous when they do that. Keel blocks it. Nice play, and Hurt gets it to Ebert, who sends it back for Walters. Now Draghi, 4:50 left. Here's Ebert. He's been silent tonight. Just one assist. Long left-footed shot, and Zoltan Toth had it smothered.
Good play by Zoltan Toth to make that save at the near post. Don Ebert doing a nice job of getting away from his defender, showing up for the pass. And here's his shot again. Don Ebert, full left-footed instep drive. Zoltan Toth making a save at the near post, and the end result is a corner kick for the Steamers.
Instruction for the Steamers. San Diego, free kick.
So the Steamers let a good opportunity go by again. Here's Jungle. Boy, you just wait for him to break out. Great pass for Segona, but Slobo gets a leg on it.
Good work by Jungle to get away from Bellinger, shield the ball, and then lay
Slobo again, and Jungle can't believe he was robbed.
Slobo saving another certain goal off the foot of number 7, Steve Jungle.
3:50 left. Here's Walters for St. Louis for Draghi. Off the boards in front. Nobody there. Now Duran sends it for Walters. And, boy, they've had some problems with form tonight, Bill. St. Louis has. They've knocked a few of them up into the crowd.
They've had their chances, Kevin, but they've had some other shots go errant way over the crossbar. Now watch this save by Ilieski. They're at the near post. Now, on the next play, Steve Jungle does a nice job of getting open. Segona lays the ball off to him. Jungle on his protected side hits it first time, turned nicely and hit the ball very, very well. But Ilieski just equal to the task once again, Kevin, playing some tremendous goal this evening.
He's just so quick. And it appears they're going to pull him in favor of a 6th attacker with 3:39 left. Sam Bick will go out there. Now you wonder, Bill, with a player so versatile as Slobo and so good in the field as he is, why not just push him forward?
That's a good point, Kevin. Excellent point, as a matter of fact, but they've done this in the past, and the player they've always put in the goal has been Sam Bick.
Redmond Lane, it goes over the glass, and now it belongs to San Diego. 2:41 left. An errant pass by the Steamers, and the Sockers regain possession. So far, the extra attacker hasn't really figured in. It hasn't given San Diego any great opportunities, and it hasn't helped the Steamers. Well, you wouldn't have had a lot of takers if you'd have made the statement at halftime that there wouldn't be any scoring in the second half after that flurry that we saw in the first half. And that's the way it's been. And it may not end that way, but so far it's 4-3 with 2:18 left. And it was this way at halftime.
I guess true to form, Kevin, the old adage, a good defense beats a good offense anytime.
Here's Redmond Lane, a low shot blocked at the defense. Duran in front. Daryl Duran looks for help, gets it from Davis, back for Duran. Oh, it's so close! And now Walters hits it high, and San Diego's had both of what you talked about a minute ago. A good offense and a great defense from Zoltan Toth. He just robbed the Steamers of the tying goal. He's been as good as Slobo tonight.
What a tremendous save by Zoltan Toth. A good ball by Ricky Davis, laid it off to Daryl Duran. He turned immediately and hit it, and a great save by Zoltan Toth. That saved a certain equalizer.
San Diego calls the timeout now with 2 minutes left, and they have the lead at 4-3, so Ron Newman's going to talk it over. What a coach he has been in San Diego. He's won 5 soccer championships, 1 in the NASL indoors with the Sockers, 1 in the MISL with the Sockers, 1 outdoors in the NASL with Dallas, and he also won 1 in the American Soccer League with Los Angeles. 4 times that man has been Coach of the Year.
The winningest coach, Kevin, in United States professional soccer history. How about this for a record? Compiled record of 317 wins, 223 losses, 27 ties. That's not too bad.
No, sir. Ron Newman, and there he is, and he wants to make sure with 2 minutes left that his team knows what it is supposed to do and doesn't leave someone wide open. Steamers press the attack, long outlet, but there's Bellinger intercepting, fighting off Wilrich. Walters able to keep it in bounds. Great move around one defender. He's still got it in the corner now. Sends it back, Redmond Lane. Inside the red line. Lane still has it. Nice pass for Walters. Walters, oh, even on the deflection, can't score. Now Duran hits it high. Walters keeping it alive, doing a good job. Great move. He goes down. And the trip will go against San Diego. It'll be a 2-minute penalty with 1.5 minutes left in the game.
Number 15, Gene Wilrich, being whistled up for the tripping foul right there on number 13, the Steamers forward, Tim Walters. So the Steamers now with an excellent opportunity. Of course, they've had opportunities before, Kevin. There's some more of the action. Zoltan Toth again, making the save, then punching it clear from Redmond Lane, who was going to run onto it. Daryl Duran on the ensuing play is about to take a shot, but some tremendous goalkeeping once again by Zoltan Toth.
And Tim Walters, give him the credit for keeping things going down there for St. Louis. He really kept it alive, and now Dave Clements trying to select his personnel for this last minute and a half in which they'll have the man advantage. Minute 8 left. Lane in front, Betancourt. Oh, it nearly went in by accident. And a dangerous play violation in the San Diego zone with 1 minute left in the game.
Referee Gino DiPolito explaining the call to Tim Walters and saying in the process, just get away.
And that is the 6th foul against St. Louis in the period, and that means a bench penalty against them. So for the last minute, that'll even things up. What a costly mistake by St. Louis. So unbelievably, they give up the man advantage.
With exactly 1 minute remaining, you can see the clock on the upper part of your screen. Sockers on top by a score of 4-3.
The teams will be equal, but they'll both be a man shy. Ty Keel will serve the bench penalty. But that does open things up a little bit for some scoring opportunities. And Jungle is out there for San Diego. That's no surprise. Ebert on the floor for St. Louis. So the two leading scorers of these clubs out there for the final minute. The Steamers will press the action when they get the ball and in effect have an extra attacker with Sam Bick in goal.
Really amazing, Kevin, as you pointed out, that the score at halftime was 4-3 with 1 minute left, and it's still 4-3. Just due testimony to the fact of the incredible goalkeeping.
29 scoreless minutes of indoor soccer here in the second half. Davis with a 2-on-1 with Ebert. He hits it wide. Well, he knew what he wanted to do, Bill, but he had Ebert alone. And now Davis caught looking at the clock. Quinn with Jungle. And Davis hustles back. Boy, he'd have been wearing some goat horns if they'd have scored there.
Good job by Davis to react quickly and get back immediately on defense.
Sam Bick moving forward. Turns on the ball. He's open. Oh, he hit it wide. Oh, he made a great move and had the open shot. Davis for Duran, and he hits it high with 8 seconds left. And that should do it for San Diego. Well, I've not seen a team with as many opportunities and not come up with a tying goal. It all started midway through the second quarter. St. Louis scored to tie it or to make it a 1-goal deficit at 4-3 and has not been able to tie it since.
There's Sam Bick, the extra attacker. He's the keeper in place of Ilyevsky. He rebounds a shot at the near post, then gets his own rebound, knocks it back, keeps the ball alive, and on the following play, Duran hit it out of bounds. So 4 seconds left now, 4-3 in favor of the Sockers.
And St. Louis will have one more shot at it. Neither team will be hanging their heads after this one, though. Especially the goalkeepers. Zoltan Toth for San Diego, who has to be the game's #1 star. And Slobo Ilyevsky for St. Louis, who's not far behind.
And the formula now, Kevin, for this free kick, just send it long.
And for Zoltan Toth, he wants to get up high and punch it out of there or catch it. Well, Ricky Davis puts on the goalkeeper's jersey, but not quite sure why with 4 seconds left.
Last 4 seconds. Just to get some extra offensive firepower.
They get it right to Davis. He can't even get a shot. Smothered by Jungle. The horn sounds. Davis had a 2-on-1 near the end. He elected to take the shot himself with Ebert open, and that was their best opportunity to tie it near the end, and they did not do it. So the final, San Diego 4, St. Louis 3. A victory for the Sockers on the road. We'll be back to wrap things up here at the arena in St. Louis right after you see this on the Sports Time Cable Network. Back live here at the arena in St. Louis. The game is in the books. A 4-3 victory for San Diego over St. Louis. So the Sockers increase their lead in the Western Division, while the Steamers fall into a tie with Minnesota in the Eastern Division. And the Steamers actually a game behind on the loss side. But, Bill, a spectacular game tonight, especially by both goalkeepers. Zoltan Toth for San Diego, Slobo for St. Louis. Steamers just couldn't get that tying goal.
They couldn't, Kevin, because the San Diego Sockers did well to get some goals early, and they protected that lead with their strong defense, and in particular their keeper, Zoltan Toth, who was simply spectacular throughout the entire game.
Steamers had the chances, but they came up empty. It was 4-3 at halftime, and it remained that way in a scoreless second half. Be sure to join us Friday when Sports Time presents more live Major Indoor Soccer League action between the Tacoma Stars and the Cleveland Force. That'll be Sunday. This telecast has been brought to you by Bud Light, the king of beers. Reach for that distinctively clear, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. For Bill McDermott and our director, Lonnie Dale, I'm Kevin Slayton saying so long from the arena in St. Louis, Missouri, where this evening the San Diego Sockers defeat the St. Louis Steamers in a battle of first-place teams 4-3. So long, everybody.